Okay, so Rick and Morty Season 6 Episode 4 is now out, and this feels like a Halloween horror entry that has a lot to unpack from it. Chock-a-block with Easter eggs, movie callbacks, and lots of hidden details. We're going to be breaking it all down throughout this video. The episode opens with a quote from poet TS Eliot, and this has been used as a framing device for a number of TV shows and movies. If you ever saw the 1994 version of The Stand, then you'll know that it began in a similar manner with a stanza from the Hollow Men. This wasn't used in every version though, and some networks have edited with a quote from Revelations from the Bible instead. This poem itself is actually taken from fragment of Aegon, even the line about getting the hoo-has. It instantly sets the tone of this horror opening, which is complete with jump scares and nods to zombie films like Night of the Living Dead. The entry is titled Night Family, and we watch as alternate consciousness are created for them that carry out menial tasks in the middle of the night. Reminded me a lot of Severance, and in case you haven't seen that, it basically involved people that worked at a company that was so secretive it split its employees' consciousness into two halves. The first part of this were people who were always at work, whilst the others lived their lives on the outside, completely unaware of what had just gone on. If you were unlucky enough to be the half that got put into the work category, then it would feel like you were constantly there without ever getting a break or life outside your office. It's a pretty horrifying thought, and the opening of course is inspiration from more modern day horrors like Insidious, Paranormal Activity, and also Sinister. These took old school horror tropes and placed them in the American home, which led to a lot of movies like that being made in the same vein. The poem talks about a nightmare, and we see Beth is unable to sleep due to Jerry's snoring. She tries to count sheep, but in the end, just goes downstairs to find Rick doing sweet crunches.
Damn, check out that washboard, yo!
After learning he's got a way to carry out tasks in the middle of the night, the rest of the family want in, and they all create a night family. The title itself is named after the American TV show Night Gallery, which was a sort of sister show to The Twilight Zone. Presented by Rod Serling, this anthology series gave us a range of horror-centered episodes. Great detail in the intro is that Jerry asks for them to catch him if he faints, and he ends up doing this. Only Rick notices it, but he still doesn't help, and that takes us in the title sequence. For this part of the video though, I'm gonna beg you to... What? Are you doing a summer on me? Fine, don't like it and don't subscribe. See if I give a People hate that jingle, but I like it. Anyway, most episodes of The Twilight Zone start off with everything being bright and breezy, but we slowly watched as it all descended into chaos. This is definitely the case here, and we see from the calendar that the family have had 11 days of nothing but the good stuff. Beth can play the trumpet, Summer is an honours student, and Morty has them rock-hard abs you can bounce a bowling ball off of. There's also lots of nods to Jordan Peele's movie Us in this episode, with that film centering around shadow doppelgangers that came from tunnels beneath the surface. 11 was a number that constantly appeared in that film, with 1111 tying to a Bible verse in Revelations, as well as the way the family was set out. There's also the fact that it's a palindrome, aka something that's the same forward as it is backwards. Kind of feel like 11 was chosen for this specific reason, and the night people all talk with croaky voices, just like how Red and the rest of the family did. Summer sort of becomes this version's Red, with her revealing that she's been lying beneath the surface, waiting to come out. Rick and Morty have also started a podcast called Fabsolutely Abulous, which is a play on the British sitcom Absolutely Fabulous. They have mics that look like Shure SM7Bs, which is pretty much the model that most people do on the internet these days, including your boy Kevin's spoilers. They do a play on the phrase as above so below by saying abs above so below, and this saying was also used in Us. The phrase originates from the Emerald Tablet and has had many interpretations over the years, with most believing it talks about the darker side to things that lies beneath the surface. In Us it was talking about the doppelgangers, and here it's the reverse of the family, with the night ones that come out when the sun goes down. Rick and Morty are doing ads, and though the guy has sold out, like we all eventually do, he refuses to say wubba lubba dub dub. We see that Night Jerry and Day Jerry have become pen pals with each other, with addresses all being sleep-related puns. Only a dork like Bloody Jerry, only he would say that. Now the pair talk about Tori Amos, and Night Jerry also asks questions about the sun. Though it seems like it's all going to be fun and games, we see how horrifying it is for the Night family, who are all forced to endure these tasks endlessly like slaves. Morty and Rick are worked to exhaustion, and Summer's hands are destroyed from all the constant dishwashing. The next day she requests that they rinse the dishes so that they're easier to clean, but Rick being Rick sees this as a declaration of war and goes all out to make the job even harder. Rick definitely has no empathy for others, and this is even seen in his alarm clock, which includes birthing a chicken, aging it up so it can wake him up, and then killing it all within a matter of seconds. I think this might be the first time we've actually been inside of his room before, or at least that I can remember. Very messy, with a simple bed and wall full of connecting diagrams and pictures that has things like his gun and Mr. Meeseeks on it. Realising the dishes have been destroyed in protest, Rick travels out of the Forbidden Zone, which could be a nod to the absurdist musical comedy. You also hear these synth notes. Reminded me a lot of the kind of scores that John Carpenter would drop in his movies, and in The Outer Rim, we see as a beast that owes him a favour creates 110% indestructible plates. This means you could take 10% off and they'd still be 100% indestructible. In the end, Rick has ended up putting way more effort into this than he would just running them under a tap for 2 seconds, but it shows how stubborn that he is. Now that night, the Knight family hold Rick down in a sort of sleep paralysis manner, and they appear almost like demons over his bed in order to draw the battle lines. This begins a war between day and night, with the latter family stripping out all the furniture. Summer is made to stay up all night. I love how her suit has forks in the back of it, so she can't lie down. In the basement, she finds they're building a giant somnambulator to extend its range beyond the house.
Somnambulator?
This reveal came in a way to me that was similar to The Thing, in which we discover the Blair duplicate is building a ship below the bunker. Cut to the calendar, which has now replaced the X with Z's, and counting them up, this has been going on for 23 days. Night Summer has destroyed their idea of the day being something fun, and she even gets Beth to burn several day-themed DVDs. This includes Independence Day, Groundhog Day, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. However, she keeps Talladega Nights, showing how the night must be kept. All the others are made to do the jobs that the night people did, and Morty does non-stop crunches whilst Rick and Jerry clean the dishes. When they're put to sleep, Jerry leaves a note for his night self, and he ends up freeing the others. Outside, the ship is destroyed, and we see their neighbour Gene. The original one got Cronenberged in the Cronenberg dimension, but the Parmesan one is looking back to normal. Beth says his line,
"Hold on to your tits,"
which calls back to this moment from Jurassic Park.
Hold on to your butts.
As they're chased through the streets, we see some weird things like kids playing in the park. But hey, I don't know what kids do these days. Also, nice pun in the sleep in, eh? Now we also get this hilarious line by the cop too.
Stop or I'll shoot everyone!
Slowly the night people are woken up, and there's a moment where Rick takes the wheel from Summer so she can fire a shotgun. I'm sure this is a nod to a Terminator movie, but I'll look through them all and couldn't find the clip. However, if you know, comments below. Either way, the whole chase scene reminded me a lot of those movies, with trucks spilling over and them constantly fighting to wake the others up. Had me dying as well when Beth started choking Jerry, and we panned down to see that he had a boner. They also beat the crap out of Night Jerry, even though he's on their side, which, hey, I co-signed doing that. In the end though, they go to call a truce, but Rick still refuses to wash the dishes, and thus the entire Night family end up becoming the main versions. They now exist in the day, and ride off into the sunset, which, this is definitely a Terminator Easter egg, this one, isn't it? Yeah, come on. Now, the credits, they show them going to Bed Bath & Beyond, having a Hawaiian holiday, and watching the Night Museum. If you look at the boxes on the floor, you can see they've burned through the franchise, and have watched 2 and 3 as well. They celebrate Chinese New Year, go to Paris, Beth plays trumpet on stage, and Summer gives Rick a world's greatest grandpa mug. They live too fast though, and not only does Morty lose his abs, but they also run out of money. Realizing that the day people handled all this sort of stuff, they decide to end it all and destroy the somnambulator, which returns them back to normal. However, the true horror sets in when they realize that the Klondike Choco Taco has been discontinued, and this might even end up becoming the next Szechuan sauce. Either way, that ends the episode, and this was another great one that's led to this being a really strong season so far. I'm having a complete blast with it at the moment, and even the more standalone episodes like this have been something I've really enjoyed. So yeah, great episode, and obviously let me know your thoughts below, and I hope you've been enjoying the breakdown so far. We're in a competition right now and giving away 3 copies of Thor Love and Thunder on the 15th of October, and all you have to do to be on the chance of winning is like the video, make sure you subscribe with notifications on, and drop a comment below with your thoughts on the episode. We pick the comments at random on the 15th, and the winners of the last one are on screen right now, so if that's you, then message me on Twitter at Heavy Spoilers. If you want something else to watch, then make sure you check out our breakdown of last week's episode, which will be linked on screen right now. We've also done a full breakdown of the latest episode of House of the Dragon, so if you're watching that, then definitely head over there right after this. But out of the way, thanks for sitting through the video. I've been Paul, I'll see you in the next one. Take care, peace.